If you're a brand new real estate agent, this one video is going to quickly become your Bible for success in your first year to make sure that you break six figures, and also it's going to become your survival guide when things get difficult. I'm first going to start off with some important advice that you need to understand in order to build momentum as a brand new agent. Then I'm going to take you through strategies that are going to help you get clients regardless of not having any experience. I will then break down 6 important steps to building massive momentum as a brand new agent. And in contrast, also 6 things that you need to avoid so that you don't become one of the 87% of new agents who fail in the industry. And then I'm going to pull it full circle at the end with a complete real estate marketing blueprint for new agents. So if you want to become one of the 13% that thrive, but not only that, one of the 1% that ends up breaking 6 figures and builds a massively successful real estate business, you don't want to skip a single second of this video. So without further ado, let's dive in and show you the proven blueprint to massive success as a new agent. And I think that's, I always tell this as to, one of my number one recommendations for new agents is, when you get into the business, like make an announcement everywhere that this is what you're doing now, because
absolutely.
If people don't know you're in this space, nobody's going to be able to, send you those referrals and things like that. And a lot of people kind of have what I find is like a limiting belief where they're like, well, if I announce I'm a new agent, nobody's going to work with me. But a lot of times what happens is people that are in your contact list actually want to support you because you're a new agent. So they want to help you get the ball rolling and things like that. So I love that approach. And kind of as we're bringing this together, what's kind of your advice for new agents that are just getting started? Because I know there's strategy, there's mindset in terms of how you have to approach this, commitment, consistency. For somebody that's just kind of getting started and maybe they haven't had the momentum that you have, what's your recommendation for people going forward to build momentum?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely easy to get in your head and make you kind of stop because it's overwhelming when you come into, there's a lot of trainings, there's a lot of opportunities. And I think understanding what you want to do. I definitely came in like from day one, drinking from the fire hose, and that's a little bit how I work, right? It's either like I'm all in or I don't do it at all. So I know that can be changed from person to person, but I think, a couple of things that I feel like it's been tremendously for me is, and I think, this come from my mentor, has come from some of the mastermind counts with you as well. It's just that you can have a year goal, but that seems so far away when you really think about it. So breaking down in those 90 days, you still have your year goal, but 90 days, because you're constantly reflecting on what you need to change or adjust, and not just waiting until the end of the year to say oh, I messed this one up, right? But so I think the 90-day goal was something actually newer for me. And it's been I feel like so strategic for me to write it down. And another thing too is that, writing affirmations, I'm very big on words. And it's been incredible, writing them down. So 2 things I've done is either, writing down a simple phrase as I am so grateful that today I get to earn X amount and I get to support X many of agents. And then just repeating that, writing it down. Don't just also keep in your mind. I have a little journal that I will write those sentences down a couple of times a day. And, I feel like starting with that gratitude, because I think it just warms you inside, that feeling of what that's going to look like. So so I'm, again, big in words, being also writing things as if already happened. I literally, I have in my 90-day goal that I started in June 20th through September 20th, which was to close 6 deals. I closed my 6th deal on August 19th, almost a month early from that. So it's when you see something that you wrote and then you see that it actually happened, it just fuels you to continue to do that. So I would say, it's not that you need to have a marketing plan, and especially if you don't have a business background. I think it's just if you're going full time, break down your day, where you're going to spend your time, and be committed to that. It's consistency is the word. I actually still have my full-time job and I'm doing what I'm doing. So, because my goal is to do both for a whole year. So I don't know if I'm going to finish both jobs within a year, because I already know I want to do this full time, but there's just some goals that I haven't hit yet. But yeah, I've been working for 2 months straight, I work every single day. I'm on my full-time job. I'm showing houses in the evening. I'm doing open houses on the weekend. And, I'm very family oriented. I'm spending time with my family. So I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, of course. I think that's so powerful because, we always talk about this with our group is what you focus on expands. And I'm very similar to you. I wrote these goals out from when I was 24 years old that I wanted to hit before I was 30. And 4 months before I turned 30, every single one of those goals happened. And these were like goals that I was like, there's no way in hell this is going to happen. And it does, because you focus on it. And then again, when you continue to look at that as like the RAS, or reticular activating system, it's like, you'll start seeing it everywhere and you'll start looking for opportunities, which I think is cool. And yeah, the 12-week year is so powerful because it's good to have these annual goals, but so much can happen, so much can change, the market can change, anything can happen in a year, whereas that 3-month window is so powerful because it's enough to get certain things done and actually make progress, but it's not too far to the point where you can't control it, which is, I love that you're really applying that. So as we're bringing this together, Amanda, we're obviously partners, which is super cool. And it's been incredible to have you, in the Wolf Pack with our group here. Why don't you share with people why you decided to come this way, and then what it's been like, and what your journey looks like going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am beyond like excited about this team. It's incredible. I will be very frank that, being a new agent, I do know a lot of other agents from different companies, but I had the one close friends that it is a leader here on the Wolf Pack that had been like my main support from day one in the last 2 years of like kind of encouraged me to come into this, area of business. And so I kind of like sometimes I can be a leader and sometimes I can be a follower, just depending, who I know I'm, being followed by. And I knew if he was, with EXP and part of the Wolf Pack, that meant I had to be here. But little did I know what I was gonna get coming to this team. Like EXP as a company has so much, and I feel like I barely have tapped into what they have because of the Wolf Pack. There's so much training here. There's, the mastermind calls. I literally, my regular job, I will move anything to be on those calls every Tuesday, because it's just like, it's beyond just being a realtor. You're helping people be a business owner. You're helping people to be a better person. And that for me, it's so valuable. So I'm so excited for the calls that you and Connor do every week. And then now that we have the ladies, the Women's Wolf Pack call as well, it's so empowering. And I feel like there's no way you can come into that call feeling down, that you don't leave the call feeling uplifted, having at least 1 or 2 ideas of what you're going to do the next day and implement. It's, in the end of the day, it's still you, right? It's your choice of what you're going to do. But the tools that you guys provide, nothing like I've seen. And I've been, like obviously not in real estate, but just in business for a long time. And I have never seen so much, like just pouring out and backing into the group.
That means the world to me to hear, and it's been incredible to see just
absolutely.
What you've done as a part-time agent, and it's just incredible. And I think what you said earlier is so true, is like, if you can do it, anybody can, right? There's so many people that aren't building momentum and they've got all day, and then you're here balancing a million things and crushing it. So as we bring this to a close, what can we expect from you going forward, from your content, from your business, and what can we look forward to on your channel and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, definitely if you're, going to my IG and Instagram, you're going to be seeing me every day there, because that won't change. If more, might be more posts, more listings, and sharing everything that is going on here in the Washington state, specifically in Seattle. Definitely, continue to my approach here with the YouTube page, because shorts being a new thing. Like, I feel like I've been doing that, and I've been getting a lot more views on that, into like the smallest little videos that you would think it's nothing. Actually, I put one of the type 5 ice cream shops in the Kirkland area, and I have like over 3,000 views in one, like, I don't know, 30-second video, So it's just like the power of, the internet and the videos. It's here. It's for us to take, and to leverage on. And, like, my main goal one of these days is going to be, be on the stage for EXP and just sharing on my story. So just sit and wait. That's gonna happen.
It will happen. We're going to make sure it does. And, you know, I think it's going to be incredible to watch you up there because a lot of people need to hear this. And again, man, I'm super grateful for you coming on here. I'm going to make sure to link all of your stuff below so people can follow your incredible journey. And again, congrats on all the success to date.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I'm looking forward to partner more in the future. And whoever's watching this video, I'm here to help no matter what. So make sure you guys contact me.
A lot of people struggle with learning the marketing, but the fact that you had a good foundation, you know, has really helped. So, you know, you got in, you built this momentum. How the heck did you do it? Because a lot of people get in and, you know, they don't close a deal for 6 months or they don't get any leads for 6 months. And, you know, I still know agents that have been in the industry for 10 years that don't use a CRM and a database. So from getting started, getting your license, flicking it active, to the point where you are now, where you can share some of the results you've gotten, what were some of the things you did along the way to build this kind of momentum and a continuous lead flow?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think once I first became an agent and had access to your weekly mastermind group, I started tuning in and I knew a little bit about KV Core. A lot of people talked about it before I even joined DXP. I realized that there was an opportunity there and people talked about the mammoth, like this crazy CRM, KV Core. And I kind of understood it. I lightly looked at it, but and the fact that I really liked it because it's one tool that holds your website, lead gen, CRM, and I really liked that. And I started looking into it and I watched a couple of your videos and I looked at some of our team group meetings and I started taking training videos and I realized, okay, I'm already out there doing YouTube videos. I'm out there doing tons of social media posts on my Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And now I felt like there was a missing part that connected all of them, and that was my database. So once I looked at KV Core and what the capability of it is, that's the thing, it's not just a CRM tool. It's a tool that pulls in leads for you. And the crazy thing about KV Core that I love the most is that it was pulling in all these leads, but then I could add in this automation, which was the drip campaign. And like I told you, I have another full-time job. I am a mom of 2 young babies. I have tons of different things that my hands were in, and I'm a new realtor. So I first wanted to find out what this field was like. I didn't want to jump into it too fast. Again, not make any deals and things fall apart. So I needed to have a plan. So I wanted to keep the momentum going online. So, you know, putting out posts, going to showings, going to different properties, you know, getting permission to promote some of the properties that I wasn't even listing. And then the missing part for me was really getting all these leads and putting them in one place and then have a kick-ass follow-up game. And KV Core did that for me.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And why don't you share some of the results that you've gotten from KV Core just to give people some context in terms of like the volume of what you've been able to generate very quickly?
Yeah, you won't believe it. I actually get 2 to 4 leads, active leads from KV Core. And when I say active, I mean, these are people that are responding directly to my drip campaign. So in KV Core, you can integrate a drip campaign that is automatic. So the moment a lead comes in through one of your ads, they get text messages, calls, and you can embed like an email that goes directly to them saying, hey, and it's also customizable. And the moment they respond back, it's now your turn to jump in and follow up with them. So I love that part about it. I have right now 190 leads. Officially, I checked this morning on KV Core database, 8 clients, Mike. That's insane. I know. I have 8 clients, all sitting in my KV Core. And I'm at a point right now, I'm looking at virtual assistants to help me with follow up because I literally ignored about maybe 6 or 8 clients who needs help with leads because I don't have time.
Yeah, that's a pretty incredible position to be in as a new realtor looking for support because most are begging for leads or transactions. So I think that's absolutely incredible. Now, you know, KV Core is a robust system and there's a lot of other CRMs out there. What, you know, from start to finish, what does the journey look like for you in terms of generating leads? Are you starting with Facebook ads and integrating them into KV Core? What type of Facebook ads are you running? Kind of walk people through step by step from start to finish, from getting the lead and then actually nurturing them with some of the different features you've been using.
You know, Mike, I'm a 10x person, so I'm not going to lie to you. I've been doing lots of different things to attract these leads. Number one massive things that's automated right now is the property boost and Facebook ads. Some of them are some of the Facebook ads that you've suggested. So automatically, the moment I got my first listing, which was through a Facebook ad that you've suggested, it was a personal Facebook ad that I did promoting myself. I had my first ever listing client that came through that, and I took that and I ran for it. And I took this listing, I did a coming soon ad from one of your templates. I used some of your templates to do the just listed. And then I took that same listing, and honestly, that property wasn't even that glamorous. It was literally a condo in Scarborough, an old condo, but I didn't care. I got some kick-ass virtual tour, some video photography, because that reflected on my brand. So I literally started doing ads targeting to investors because it was a furnished property. It was a small enough property that was great for first-time home buyers. So I did ads using your templates. And then I generated 3 leads that directly contacted me. So I put them into my CRM. So that was one. Second, I did the property boost on that exact same property that generated automatic leads that got directly into CRM. So KB Corp pulled them in. And then once that property was sold, it was sold in 9 days, but again, by the time you do paperwork, it was really taken off the market in 11 days. And what I did was I contacted some other agents and I started boosting some other properties that were some of the areas that I was targeting. So, and that started pulling in from KV Core. Again, that property boost within KV Core, right? Started pulling in directly, building my CRM, and I got leads again. There was one time, I'm not kidding you, and I could show you this, a screenshot. I had 14 leads in one day. It was insane. I know, it's pretty crazy. So that was another areas that I was kind of pulling in leads. And then again, some of them it's my YouTube videos and putting on my social media. I had people message me through stories, and I put out a buyer's guide, again, using some of your templates for sellers and buyer's guide. I put an ads out for those. So it's a number of different things. So I meant it when I said 10X, because I put out video once a week on YouTube, and I'm not really good at videos, and it's all new to me, and I'm just kind of going with the flow, trying to find my personality. And I'm as you can see, I'm a very fast-paced talker. So I have to find a way to kind of find out what my brand is online and figure out a way to help people and help people close the deals. Like the way you put it, you know, more money in less time.
That's amazing. You know, you remind me exactly of myself when I got started back in 2017, because I was either going to make it or I was going to be homeless. There was no in between. You know, I'm going all in. And I think, you know, you're such a super mom for having so much on the go, but doing everything. And I think it's extremely admirable to see that you've taken this omnipresent approach of being everywhere at once. And I think that's something that I did too, that really helped build momentum, is that no matter where people are looking, any potential buyer, seller, and investor, you're going to be in front of them. And I also admire, and I think anybody listening should really take note of this, the fact that you went above and beyond to reach out to other people. I think there's a lot of people that say, you know, I have no business, I have no listings, I have nothing to do. Whereas you took the approach of saying, hey, I have no listings, but other people do. They might not be as strong at marketing. I am. So let's see if I can bring a buyer, because at the end of the day, which listing agent doesn't want a buyer to be brought to their property? So I think it's absolutely incredible to see that you've just taken this very bullish approach of going all in on every platform. Now, with the CRM, you know, you kind of mentioned that that's been the hub of your business. And, you know, for new agents, what's kind of your advice there in terms of making that a core foundation? Because I think so many agents say, well, I don't need a CRM or a database until I've got X amount of clients. I'm just going to forget about it right now. And then a year goes past and they still don't get it. And then 2 years go past. And then you start to hear these top producers that are doing hundreds of millions in volume a year say, they rely on their sphere, they rely on their database. And there's a massive disconnect between what agents come in the business and try to do and what they skip out on, and what the biggest, most successful agents are actually doing. So what does that look like to you in terms of making this a core foundation of your business?
Absolutely. You know what? That's a really good question. I'm in KV Core multiple times a day. I'm going through my leads and looking at their journey. And this is a crazy thing. I'm not familiar with a lot of other CRM, but KV Core, my goodness, you're kind of spying on people. I can honestly, Mike, right now, if you sign into my website, you look at a property, every time you look at a property on my site, I can tell you, it shows me as the agent first. And now every time you look at a property, it looks like I'm the one who's listing it. Bonus. And second, every time you look at a property, it gives me a summary saying, okay, Mike came back in 14 days, and it gives me a text message, so like in real time. So while you're looking at properties, while you're top of mind, I'm giving you a call saying, hey, I've noticed that you looked at such and such property, and they're all within the ranges of 600 townhouses. Can I help you? Can I go show them to you? They're actually in mid-market for 3 to 5 days, and they've been selling fast. And it's a hot market in Toronto. I'm not sure if you know, things are flying. Literally, the properties that aren't, honestly, it's insane. And so I think that's the part where the opportunity is for me, is that having a tool that is constantly keeping things organized for you, helping you plan ahead, and helping you with that follow-up. And I think that's where a lot of agents I've noticed, and myself, I got really nervous about, is that how do I follow up? And I think I even posted in our social media group, our mastermind, like our Agent Wolfpack private group, asking you guys, like, how do you follow up? Like, how does that follow up look like without coming off too strong, and also trying to really be a leader and help people out in their transaction? And I think KV Core does that for me. And I mentioned this to you earlier, and if you take KV Core away from me right now, my business will fall apart. Because I integrated all my tactics, my marketing tactics, whether it's print. I also put out 500 door hangers. Like, I did a lot of different things for people to get to my website. And that's all I wanted, Mike. The moment they got to my website, CRM, KV Core is going to pull them in, right? And boom, I got it, right? Like, I needed people to get to my website so that it's all automatically pulled into my CRM. So every person that visited, logged into my website, now I have a lead. And now the moment they respond to my drip campaign, now I have an active lead. The moment I respond to them and they respond back to me, now I have a client, right?
Yeah, that's, it's so impressive to see, the maturity of your style of business for being in for such a short amount of time. And, I think a lot of people, especially during 2020, when the pandemic happened, their business was hanging on by a thread, and that thread got snipped. And that's because they didn't have a foundation that carried their business forward. They were kind of going day to day, and they were kind of winging it, and just taking clients as they come and not nurturing them, hoping they're going to reach out. But I think you've built a recession and pandemic proof business by actually going the extra mile to learn how to properly build the foundation the right way. That's proven to be done by the most successful agents. The next thing I'd love to kind of jam out with for a second here, before you maybe provide some tips to other new agents, is this unique strategy that you did where you reached out to somebody in a pretty creative way and what that turned into. So maybe if you want to dive into what that entire journey looked like and your advice to other people, because through our conversations, it sounds like you might have an opportunity to do the same thing again quite soon.
So one of the things that, don't take for granted is what you hear on the radio or listen to in the newspaper. On the radio, there was a story about a company that was moving from Ontario to New Brunswick. They were moving their whole family here. They were moving with some of the workers here, some of the employees. So right away, I was like, oh, who is this company? Did a little bit of research, found out who the CEO was, owner was, or is, and I sent him out a care package. So I went to one of the local stores here that sells all New Brunswick things, got him a lot of New Brunswick just calendars, all these local things, got him local beer from one of the local breweries, and just sent him this box. It was right before Christmas, and I sent him a letter again saying, I moved 3 years ago. I'm a realtor. However, what I'm giving you here, like what I'm trying to portray is I have the experience. If you have any questions about the move with your family, I know you have children as well, please reach out. Even if you have a realtor, I'm not trying to sell you a home, but if you have any questions about what life in the Maritimes is and what making this big move entails, I would be happy to talk to you. Anyhow, he reached out literally like a week later, And he said, thank you so much. It made a huge difference at the fact that, one, you said, reach out so I can share with you my experience. And the fact that I, took the time to just send them all these little things about our province and our wonderful province, a little flag and all these little things, right? Just as a welcoming and trying to just bring out the best in our province, or in this province, which it is. So he was pretty impressed by that. So not only did I obviously help him find a home, but also 5 other people, which were family members and employees. So it turned out to be 6 deals out of that little care package and letter, just saying, I've been in your shoes, reach out, I'd love to help you. Like help you as in like with the moving transition, any questions, not just help you find a home.
Yeah, it's so, incredible that you did that. Just thinking, as a new agent, how can you combat, lack of experience? And the way you combat lack of experience is with over delivering on value, right? And I love that you went above and beyond to do that. And you can see it's those little things that separate you from the others, right? Everybody else is going to, number one, lead with, if you're looking to buy a house, I'm the person. They're going to boast about their years of experience and all of their accolades and credibility. And you just passively send something saying, welcome, excited to welcome you to the province. I'm here for you. I've been there. And I think, again, that continues to be on that relatable level that just resonates so deeply with people that are looking for somebody that, again, is not that typical pushy salesy agent. They just want somebody who cares. And I think it's safe to say that you definitely care a lot about the people that you're working with if you're willing to go and do those things that others aren't willing to do. Let's get straight into it. Again, we're going to talk about Facebook ads for lead generation, how to use your business page properly, and what to do on your personal page, the 3 main components of leveraging Facebook. So let's dive straight into it and show you what you need to do. So the first thing we're going to start with is your business page, okay? And what should you be doing on your business page? Because a lot of people just really don't know what they should be posting and how to build a foundation and when they should be posting. I'm going to explain a couple really unique things here that make a massive difference on your business page. So when looking at building your foundation, the first thing you want to do is follow what Facebook actually gives you whenever you're creating your Facebook page in terms of optimizing, of setting up your profile picture, which needs to be consistent with all of your other profiles on every other social media platform, having a nice clean social media banner or Facebook banner that highlights your market or shows a property that is relevant to your city, making sure that you've got all your contact information and a little description about you as well. Now, the second thing is you want to make sure you set up something like ManyChat for your send message button, because what happens is Facebook actually ranks your page in terms of how quickly you respond to messages. So if you don't have something that's automated that will respond to people for you, then what's going to happen is it's going to say you're not responsive. Whereas if you look at my Facebook page or any other person that's using an automated bot like ManyChat, what you'll see is it says 100% of messages responded to in less than a minute, very responsive. And that helps rank your page. Whereas if you're unresponsive, Facebook's saying, well, this person's clearly not that active on their Facebook page. We're not going to drive traffic or help you rank whenever people are searching for a local realtor in your market. So you really want to make sure that you've got some sort of messenger bot there set up on your send message button to make sure that you can get more people. And the last thing is you want to make sure that you've got your testimonials section set up, because this is going to be a very great way to rank your page. Google My Business and Facebook reviews on your Facebook business page are the 2 best ways to organically rank whenever people are searching for a realtor in your market. Just think about you and your restaurants, right? If you're searching for a steakhouse in your city or a sushi spot or whatever, you're going to go to the one with the highest reviews. And Google shows the Facebook pages and the businesses with the highest 5-star reviews. So when you're getting started out, you want to make sure you set these sections up so that you are set up for success. So now let's look at what you should be posting on your page. Now, again, this is your business page. So this is where it is okay to be posting listings, sold properties, and open house. But there's a few key nuances that you need to do in order to actually get good engagement when you're posting these things on your business page. Number 1 is you want to be including local hashtags when you're writing your description. And what this does is, again, is it makes it more searchable. So if you're posting a property in a certain community, use that community as a hashtag. Use Calgary real estate or your market real estate, your market realtor, your market, maybe like mine where we call Calgary YYC, which is our international airplane code. Use that. You want to fill about 5 to 10 hashtags in your post in order to help the SEO or the ranking ability. The second thing is you want to make sure that you geotag it. So whenever you make a post about a certain property, a certain location, tag that location when you're making that post. And the third thing is whenever you're doing the listing, sold, or open house, you want to be including a link, because you want to be able to drive traffic from that to something that allows you to generate a lead. So yes, when you're making that post, it'll give you the option to include a send message button, but also you want to have a link because some people don't want to message you, but they could still become a lead if they go on the link. So whenever you're writing a description about a property, don't just write a description and say, hey, here's a new listing, it's gorgeous, let me know if you want to see it. Include the link to that, and that's going to drastically increase your conversion. Now, the second thing that you want to do is BTS, on the job, so behind the scenes on the job. And the reason for this is it allows you to build more of a personal connection with people. So again, yes, it is important to have, the 20%, if you ever go to the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your content should be personal and 20% should be biz. So when looking at this is the 20% right here, which is the just listed, just sold open house with a banner on it. It's just the property. That's it. That's all. Right? Really great way to showcase the quality of your photos, the twilight, the drone, all that good stuff. And again, this is photo and video. Now, the personal side, which is this right here, is you want to do behind the scenes on the job. So whenever you're with a client at a possession, whenever you're, at an open house, take a selfie outside of it. Whenever you're at a cool event, make sure you showcase it. And this is a really great way, again, just to build a more personal connection and show people that you're not just creating a homes and land magazine here, posting properties all day, every day. They get to see you and they want to see you. And that's what's going to allow you to build a deeper connection. And the final thing that you want to be doing here is stuff that's somewhat personal. And I know a lot of people struggle with this, but this is a person-to-person business. Everybody says that they get into real estate because they love working with people, they love helping people, and they're a people person. And then they come into real estate and they don't post personal content. It makes no sense. So you really want to make sure that this is a key component in terms of what you're doing, whether it be out and about with your family, on a road trip, on traveling, doing something related to your passions and hobbies. Mine happens to be cars or mountain biking. So this is a great way, again, to ultimately do what you're trying to do in social media, which I'll explain right here, which is you want to build the know, and trust factor. So those are the key factors where people will get to like you if they see like 1 or 2 photos from you and they actually like them because you seem like a good person. They'll get to know you if you're consistent, but they'll only get to trust you if they start to see the personal side of you and they can resonate with it and tell that you're authentic. Now, how often should you be posting? This is one that, again, a lot of people overcomplicate. You don't need to. With this stuff here, ad hoc, because you're posting it whenever it comes up. Now, with other stuff in terms of the BTS, behind the scenes on the job, or personal, 2 to 3 times a week is all you need. You don't need to be on there every day despite what anybody tells you. I see real estate coaches, get this. There's a real estate coach that told an agent that joined me to post 10 times a day. And I went to that real estate coach's profile and they post once a month. So here's what you need to understand is a lot of people telling you this nonsense aren't actually doing it themselves. They're just watching Gary Vaynerchuk regurgitating what he's saying and telling you to go do it. So I actually do this every single day. This is my job. I train thousands of agents a year on how to use social media. I know what works and most people don't. So that's all you need to do. Now let's go to the personal page because this is where a lot of people get stumped. A lot of people don't know what to do on their personal page. What should you be posting? Now you can share photos from your business page to your personal page. You cannot share from your personal page to your business page. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Now, yes, you can be sharing things like your new listings. I don't like to do open houses, but you can do solds as well to show that you got the job done. Now, one more thing that I forgot up here that is actually really important in terms of what to post is testimonials. Now, this is really important where, again, if you look at my page, what I did is I used to have this big 5-foot sold sign and I would get people to hold that outside of their properties whenever they got the job done, big smiles, big emotions. And that actually is what did the best for me in terms of generating more referrals. So make sure you include testimonials as well. But if we come down here, feel free to share, some of your listings, some of your sold if you like. And then also the testimonials are really good. And then obviously when you're looking at your personal page, this is where your personal side thrives. So you can be more active on your personal page than your business page if you would like, where you can start to share the personal side. Because ultimately, guys, when people are looking at your Facebook page, your personal page, in your description, you should write that you're a realtor. Everybody knows you're a realtor. So whenever you're going to events, whenever you're doing anything, just start to share it, because you don't need to boast that you're a realtor. You don't need to be wearing a big branded, polo or something like that. Just start to share what you are doing. And what you need to understand is there's something called HGTV. Everybody knows it. Why do people like HGTV? People like HGTV because it's the behind the scenes of the real estate business, and it shows the personal side of what goes on in real estate. So you really want to be highlighting what you enjoy. You don't need to look a certain way. You don't need to act a certain way. You need to be true and authentic to yourself and post whatever you're doing. If you're into dogs, start posting dog stuff about you going to dog parks. If you're into mountain biking or cars like I am, start to post you going to car meet. So whatever you want to post on your personal page, as long as you have your profile optimized to show that you're a real estate agent, that's more than fine. So don't overcomplicate it. Share some of your stuff so that people, just start to stay top of mind with you. Show that you're getting, the job done, and you're selling these properties, and, you're getting great testimonials from people and they're really enjoying it. But have fun with it. Don't try and be the same as everybody else. Make it what you want of it. Be personal. Don't be too polarizing in terms of politics, religion, things like that, or being too opinionated. But just stay neutral, have fun, and show your personal life. The more you show, the more people know you, and the more people you know you, the more you grow. So when or how often you should be posting, again, this is one that is kind of subjective, where it is as often as you want, to be honest, on your personal page. You can't really overdo it, but again, I recommend 2 to 3 times a week if you want to build momentum, and then you can adjust from there. So now let's get into what a lot of people are probably here for, which is the Facebook ads and lead generation. A lot has changed here, and let me explain why. So one of the biggest things that has changed, and what's driving everybody absolutely insane when we look at this, is the iOS updates and the special ad category. These are two things that completely ruined what a lot of people were doing. The iOS 14 updates, what's happening is, if you don't know, now people, whenever they're downloading apps or whenever they get a new phone, they're prompted to opt out of targeted advertising on Facebook and Instagram, which of course some are doing. And then the special ad category made it so that you can't actually target less than a 50-mile radius. You can't adjust your gender. You can't use detailed targeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how to get around this, what to do to get better results so that you don't fall victim to this. So now all hope is not lost. And I want to explain to you how to get better results using Facebook ads going forward, knowing that we have to deal with these two pains in the butt that unfortunately we're not going to be able to get over. And if you don't adapt, your ads are going to suck. You're not going to get any warm leads. You're going to struggle to convert, and you're not going to do well, and you're going to waste a ton of money on leads that are never going to convert. So let's walk through how to get better results on Facebook so that you don't have to fall victim to this, because I want you to thrive, not struggle to survive. And this is what's happening, okay? So we've got a cold audience up here. We've got warm, and we've got hot. Okay, so let me break down how this applies. So cold is unaware. People have never heard about you before, right? Now warm is aware, and then hot is basically people that are, booking appointments with you. So what we want ultimately is, we of course want to drive people from the funnel, and we want to drive them down this process in order to go from unaware to aware to booking appointments. Now let me explain where most real estate agents go wrong. And this is, again, one of the biggest problems people have, is most realtors are running a warm middle of funnel ad to people that think they know them, to a cold audience who've never heard about them before, expecting a hot lead reaction, which is booking appointments today, answering the phone, excited to talk to you, ready to book. Doesn't work. So what I want to do is I want to explain to you how to get better results with this, so that you don't run into this issue, because this is the issue I get all the time, is people saying Facebook ads don't work. No, you're just not following the right process in order to get high quality leads from Facebook. So what are best practices that you can be doing? Let's look at this. We'll go cold, warm, and hot. We ultimately want to bring them down and get hot leads, people that are ready to book appointments with us. So what do you need to be doing in order to actually get cold leads to warm to hot? So when we're doing cold, how do you increase conversion? One of the best ways to increase conversion is have a landing page or a squeeze page. And what this is instead of using Facebook's generic lead generation page, it's a branded page that is specific for converting online leads. It should be branded towards you and your brand. It should have a photo of a property or of your city. And the only call to action should be to fill out their name, email, phone number, and then get, the listings or whatever they want, whatever you're writing your ad for. So that is going to increase the quality of the leads from the top of funnel, from people that have never known you. So now how do we bring people to the warm funnel? What we need to do here is we need to connect them to a CRM, and we want to start retargeting with value-driven content, right? And because here's the thing, this is where most people go wrong, is a lot of people that are running their Facebook ads not only say Facebook ads don't work, not only do they not follow a script to handle objections, but also they run ads to a cold audience constantly. So to give you an example of what that's like you driving down a highway in your city, seeing a bus bench once, and then 8 to 10 months down the road, you realize that you want to buy or sell a house. You're never going to remember the person's name, phone number, email from that bus bench that you saw 8 to 10 months ago. It's never going to happen. But that's what people are doing with their Facebook ads, is they're running into a cold audience constantly, new people, not retargeting, and wondering why nobody's converting. Get this, for example, the average lead converts after the 7th touch point. Most realtors are doing 1. So you're wondering why it's not converting, and it's because, again, you're not setting it up for a CRM, you're not retargeting, and that's not going to get you the results you're looking for. So that's how we bring them down to the warm, is making sure, when we're looking at retargeting, that they're set up on like a drip campaign using your CRM, you've got a follow-up strategy, and you're following, a simple step-by-step process while simultaneously retargeting them with more ads that are bringing them lower down the funnel. Now, once you start looking at how can you actually get them to the bottom of funnel, that's when you start doing a lot more value-driven content with a CTA, right? Because once you start creating lookalike audiences, custom audiences, which I'll explain in a sec before we wrap up here, this is where we want to get people. So ultimately, when we start looking at this, I'm going to break it down so that you know exactly what you need to do and where you need to go. Cold audiences are your first ads, and this is usually brand awareness. Okay, just to get people into your funnel, again, driving traffic to a landing page, converting into a warmer lead. Now, this is going to be a custom audience where you're then going to be able to take the people that engaged with your first ads and then create a custom audience, which is telling Facebook, hey, let's retarget people that have already been proven to engage with my ads. Now, where you start getting hot leads is where you create a special ad category audience. And what this allows you to do is it says, okay, Facebook, let's look at all the people that have proven to engage with the ads. We're not only going to retarget them, but then out of the ones that we've retargeted and the ones that stay engaged, go find more people like that. And that's where the magic happens, is once you start using these special ad category audiences, bringing people lower down the funnel, retargeting and staying top of mind with the people that are proven to engage consistently with your content, leading with value-driven content, community tours, market updates, buyers tips, sellers tips, property tours, different things like that are going to be of interest to somebody looking to buy or sell. And ultimately, that's how you're going to increase your leads. Let's dive into these 6 specific things you can do now to make sure in 30 days from now, you've got massive momentum. Number 1 is selecting the right brokerage. A lot of people don't quite realize the importance of selecting a right brokerage and how much of a massive difference it can make based on the brokerage that you choose, based on training, support, growth opportunities, the amount of money that you make when you start to build momentum. This is a very important decision. And what I'll do is in the pinned comment, I'll actually link a separate video where I break down every single thing you need to do, all of the criteria you need to consider when selecting the right brokerage so that you don't fall victim to what I did, which is selecting a brokerage with no support, high fees, and not modern training, which is, unfortunately what happens with most traditional franchise brick and mortar brokerages. But selecting the right support system is going to give you a foundation that you can build off to make sure that you've got the greatest chance of success by having the right tools in your arsenal to actually leverage for things like personal branding, lead generation, social media, video marketing, traditional prospecting, and all of the different assets that you need, which is why I actually make sure that all the new agents in our group have exactly that. Number 2, which kind of goes along with choosing a brokerage, which is deciding whether or not you want to be a solo agent or a team agent, an agent on a team. Now, there's pros and cons of both, and I've actually got a video that breaks down this as well. I decided to be a solo agent because I could bet on myself, and I knew that I had the work ethic and the drive and the passion to make sure that I'm going to go build my own brand. I don't want to build somebody else's brand. I don't want to give them 50% of commission, and I also don't want to be an employee, because if you think about it, most people get into real estate because they want to be their own boss. Well, if you're just showing up and servicing leads that are given to you, that basically makes you an employee. because at the end of the day, you're just servicing and doing the job that people are giving to you, almost like tasks that somebody at a corporate job would be giving to you. And what happens when those leads go away? You don't even know how to keep your business going. So that's why I wanted to build my own brand, get my own recognition, learn the skill sets to actually build my own business my way. So it didn't matter what happened to my brokerage or the market or anything else like that, I would be able to succeed. Now, that's also one of the reasons why I chose eXp Realty and why so many new agents are joining our group, because we actually give you the best of both worlds, where you can build your own brand, keep the majority of your commission, not have to give up any additional split for being in the group, but also have all of the tools, trainings, resources, support, coaching, and mentorship, probably more so than you would even get if you were at a traditional 50-50 split team. So this model allows you to do really cool things if you've got it structured properly. And this is why we've also got a record-breaking group, because again, people are seeing the massive success rate of new agents that we have and the really cool systems we've built out to put new agents on a super quick growth path in order to give them massive momentum and help make sure that they close their first deals within the first couple of months. Number 3 is creating SMART goals and then reverse engineering it into a daily schedule. One of the main reasons why new real estate agents or any real estate agent fails is because, again, they're still in this employee mindset where they're not resourceful, they're not self-accountable, and unfortunately in real estate, if you don't do the things that you need to do, there's no immediate repercussions. If you don't do what you're supposed to do at a 9-to-5 job, you've got a boss breathing down your neck, yelling at you, threatening you, whatever your situation is. But in real estate, it's actually a delayed repercussion, because what happens is if you don't do the things you're supposed to do, then nothing happens. But months down the road, after not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you end up realizing that you're broke with no deals. Now you have to fail out of the industry like 87% of agents actually do. So let's talk about SMART goals. You want to have goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And a lot of people don't do this. And this is why, again, I recommend people operating on a 12-week year, not a 12-month year. Because 12 months, saying you want to do 24 deals in your first year, that is so far out that you have no control over that. But if you start to operate in quarters, then this is going to give you a long enough window in order to get things done, but a short enough amount of time in order to put a bit of pressure on yourself, but also track it and make sure that it's measurable. Because a lot of new agents say, I want to do 24 deals in their first year. 6 months passed and they've done 6 deals. And then now they've got to make up like 18 more deals within the last 6 months, which is usually not that realistic. It does happen, but not often. So you really want to make sure that you've got SMART goals. We do a lot of this training within my group, talking about goal setting and making sure that they're actually achievable and that you've actually got a proven blueprint to achieve them. And then what you want to do once you have your SMART goals is to reverse engineer into a daily schedule, focusing on the income producing activities. A lot of new agents fall victim to just getting caught up in the things they want to do, not the things that they have to do. They're playing around designing silly things on Canva when they should be prospecting. They're out there meeting with mortgage brokers and other people that literally are never going to give them a deal for the rest of their life, instead of recording video content and actually putting content out on their YouTube channel. So a lot of agents really struggle with focusing on income producing activities. And if you want, I've actually got a full video that's actually one of the #1 videos on YouTube about how to create a schedule for realtors that is focused on what is proven to actually help you scale. If you want that, again, I'll link it in the pinned comment. But it's really important that you've got a daily schedule with daily activities that are actually going to lead you towards those goals, which unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you if you didn't realize this, is usually going to be the activities that are not the most fun to do in the beginning. Once you build momentum, you'll be able to focus on the things that you really enjoy to do. But in the beginning, in your first 30 days, you've unfortunately got to be in the trenches and on the battlefield every day doing the income producing activities to build your sphere, build momentum, and start to work towards getting those first clients. That leads to number 4, choosing a method of prospecting. Listen, a lot of agents reach out to me because, again, I speak on stage around North America about social media. That's what my channel is primarily about. And a lot of people know me for social media strategies for realtors. However, I am not against traditional prospecting. I actually recommend new agents do some form of traditional prospecting, whether it be door knocking or cold calling, because my perspective as a new agent is you should do anything humanly possible so that by the end of the first year, you can look back and say there's not one more thing you could have done in order to build momentum. Because what a lot of agents do is they just do what they want to do, then they don't hit their goals, then I ask them what they actually did, and they didn't do like 80% of what they could have tried in order to get business. So my recommendation is to choose one method of traditional prospecting and pair that with what I'm going to talk about next. So door knocking or cold calling, if you want my door knocking scripts, which I crushed it with as a new agent, drop a comment below and I'll make sure I give those to you. But it is really important to have something that is a proactive form of lead generation in order to make sure that you can control the amount of conversations and people you get in front of every day. Number 5 is setting up all pillar social media platforms and then making announcements on them. It's really important for people to know what you're actually doing, but also give context to it. A lot of people make their assumptions about why people get into real estate, but there's a lot of people that get into it because of passion, because of interest, because of, history, because of whatever your situation is. And you want to give context to people as to why you got into the industry. And this is going to be a really great way to stir up initial conversations, which in most cases actually leads to one of your first clients. So setting up things like your Facebook business page, your Instagram profile, switching it to a business profile, setting up your TikTok, launching your YouTube channel, re-optimizing your LinkedIn profile to adjust your experience and where you're working now. All of these things are very important so that you've got the foundation set up as a realtor. So now as you start to follow different strategies like the many that are featured on my channel or my free social media training, if you want to drop a comment below, and this is going to allow you to start to work towards building your personal brand and generating leads. The two focal points and really the only two things that matter in real estate, which again is going to lead into the last thing we're going to talk about. But setting up those profiles in the first 30 days is exceptionally important so you can start to become active and start to attract clients. And lastly, number 6, the one that most people aren't going to be expecting, is focus on conversations. There's so many people that are on like the IV drip feed of leads. They want more leads. They need more leads. It's all about leads, leads, leads. I'm here to tell you, and I don't care what anybody else says, leads don't mean anything. Conversations are what actually matters. If I give you 1 million leads and none of them turn into a conversation, you've got no business. If I give you 10 leads and 3 turn into a conversation, you're going to be doing pretty well as a real estate agent. So what people need to understand is the name of the game is not leads. The name of the game is how many conversations can you have? And this goes back to prospecting. A lot of real estate coaches out there and programs out there all tell you have 200 calls a day, knock 300 doors a day, whatever they give you. Well, the problem with that is that new agents are going out there focusing on volume, not quality. So they're hitting their metric of 200 calls per day, but they had like 2 conversations and got no contact information. My focus and what yours should be is when you're prospecting, your goal should be not to get off that phone or leave that doorstep until you've exhausted every possible angle to handle objections in order to get that person's contact information. And when you go in with the priority of getting contact information versus what most do, the priority of pleasing some online coach, telling them to get this many conversations, which is useless, you're going to see a massive increase in your business as a brand new agent. Conversations are what matters, not leads, and you're going to turn conversations into clients, which will then make sure that you get paid quicker. If you're just getting started in real estate this year, there's an 87% chance that you're going to fail. But if you follow these 6 simple steps, I'm going to make sure that by the end of this video, you are not one of the statistics. Especially with the shifting market we're now dealing with, things are only going to get more difficult, and I want to make sure that you're a success story and you don't fall victim to the statistics of, again, the majority of agents failing within their first year. So without further ado, let's dive into the 6 things that you need to be doing this year in order to make sure that you thrive as a brand new real estate agent. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard. If you don't know who I am, I train thousands of agents every year to skyrocket their business the modern way, leveraging social media, and I also am at eXp Realty. So if you want to know about how to partner with me and get my one-on-one support to help you crush it like the majority of the new agents that have joined us have, doing multiple 6 figures, then feel free to check out the link in the description below. So let's start diving into what you need to do as a new agent to thrive in this market, because most new agents do not properly understand what they need to do in order to become successful. They think that, listings are just going to be falling out of the sky, and that is not the case. And I want to make sure that you thrive as an agent, and I've talked to thousands of new agents and have helped many of them them become success stories. So let's start diving into these 6 things. Now, the first thing I want to dive into is a bit more generic, and then we're going to get into the tactical. But the first thing I want to explain is that the market is shifting. The market is different, and it is not what it has been for the last 2 years. However, it is the best time to become an agent if you're driven and take massive amounts of market share. Let me explain. The last 2 years have been a joke. It's been a 2-year gravy train, listings selling for like $200,000 over list price in 14 freaking seconds. Didn't have to market the property, didn't have to communicate properly with your clients, and things were just flying off the shelves. Well, the market is shifting, and it's shifting to a normal market, so it's not like catastrophically blowing up, but it's pulling back a bit, which means that you actually have to do something now. So I want to make sure that you understand that what happens when the market starts to retract and pull back and we start to see a shift is that all the complacent, lazy agents that got into the industry to sell a few homes and make 30 to 60 grand are not going to be renewing their license. They're gone, right? Not saying it's going to get like 0809, but in 0809, 60% of licensed agents did not renew the real estate license, which means where did the clients from the 60% go? To the 40%. So what I want to make sure is that you become one of the 40% by following the next 5 steps, because this is the greatest time to take market share. When I got started as a new agent, I was only 24 years old in a new city that didn't know anybody, and I had no money, but only 27% of listings were selling. The market was garbage. And I crushed it because everybody else gets lazy, complacent. They don't want to do anything. They get scared, fearful, and they start to worry about the market. Whereas if you follow the steps I'm going to explain now, you will take market share and become a top producer very, very quickly. Now, the first thing that you need to do, which is step number 2, is create a proper business plan. And then we're going to start going into the ninja strategies. But this is foundational to know what are you actually going to be doing, because here is the easiest way to separate the gap from all of the lazy agents that are going to be in your market that are going to be fearful and scared of everything that's happening, all the headlines and such, is to actually be productive, not just busy. All too many agents get so caught up in working 10, 12, 14 hours a day, but they get nothing done. Their business doesn't move ever. And that's why they're at the same place now as they will be in 12 months and the same place they were 12 months ago. So you need to have a plan. By failing to plan, you're planning to fail. And let me explain what you need to do. Now, if you drop a comment below and just comment business plan or something like that, then what I'll do is I'll give you my video that actually shows you how to fully break out a business plan and reverse engineer that into a daily goal, because that's what you need to do. You not only need to create your annual goal. Let's say you want to do 24 deals in the next year. Well, a lot of people say that's just 2 deals a month. Well, the question you have to ask is, are you going to get 2 deals this month? And the answer is usually no. So it's condensed. So what we need to do is create short-term, mid-term, long-term, lifetime, afterlife goals. We'll focus on the short-term, mid-term, and daily goals. So let me explain what you need to go through. Is you need to go through the process, number 1, of identifying your annual goals. Now, after we identify our annual goals, you need to then reverse engineer that into quarterly goals, or what I refer to as short-term goals. And the reason being is because 1 year is way too far out to actually project if you're going to stay on track. So much happens, market changes, interest rates change, climate changes sometimes, hurricanes, depending on where you live, and ultimately those are out of your control. So by having quarterly goals, we're operating on what we refer to as a 12-week year. You're going to have much more control over the goals that you're doing. Now, after that, we need to reverse engineer that into weekly and daily activities. So what you'll see is a lot of agents like me operate on a power list. I keep it in front of me every single day, which is the 5 income producing activities that will move the needle of your business every single day. So as a new agent, you want to make sure that you've got 3 hours of prospecting every single day in your power list. You want to make sure that you've got studying the market data every single day in your power list, creating content or posting on every platform every single day. And you want to make sure that you're doing the foundational elements that will bring you clients at scale and start to help you build momentum, because all too many people focus on doing the things they want to do, not the things they know they need to do. And what this does is it keeps them busy, but they're not moving the needle of their business. Now, the third thing that you need to do is incredibly important, which sounds obvious, but it's not, and I will explain. Build a proper foundation. Take the time to build a proper foundation. So many agents get into the industry and they're just so fired up to get out there to crush it, and they're doing a million different things and they don't even build a foundation. What I mean by that is that your CRM is the heartbeat of your business. Okay, so when you look at this, you could talk to 100% of top producers out there. Every single one of them relies on their CRM for repeat, referral, and nurturing their sphere. I've now talked to thousands of agents that are new agents. Every single one of them that is not successful at the end of the first year, guess what they didn't do? Use their CRM. So we want to make sure that we build a foundation, because what you'll see is that as you start to get your first, second, third, fourth, fifth deals, if you properly nurture your database, repeat and referral clients will start to come with you. Initially referrals, then repeat long term. But the most important part is understanding that if you get referrals in your first year, it's going to be the most profitable deals that you're going to get. Because if you rely constantly on cold lead generation like most agents do, all they're focused on is more leads, more leads, more leads. Well, what happens is that takes more effort. Those leads usually take longer to convert, and it takes more time because, again, there's no established relationship. Not to mention the cost of that, from both an investment in terms of ad spend, but also the time it takes in order to establish that relationship, get them to like, know, and trust you. Whereas referrals, it's already done from day one. So it's the most profitable deals because they already know what they want to work with you, because John Smith over here said that you're the best person to work with. So we want to make sure that we set up a proper foundation, which goes into the second aspect of this, which is understanding that your personal brand is what matters. Anybody that actually understands the real estate industry will properly tell you that the brokerage brand means absolutely nothing. Right? This is why I could ask 1,000 agents which brokerage Ryan Serhant was with before he started Serhant, and 990 couldn't tell you. You probably don't know the answer, but everybody knows who Ryan Serhant is. Your brokerage brand does not matter. Your personal brand is everything. So you need to identify as a new agent what makes you different. What is your unique value proposition? What do you want to be recognized for? Because what this does is it allows you to go into listing presentations or buyer's presentations, and when somebody says, hey, why you? You could say, boom, exactly why you. For me as a new agent, it was my expertise with marketing and video content, drone footage, exposure on properties by leveraging Facebook ads and video content. And that worked really well because when the market shifted, a lot of people wanted more exposure, amplified results on their property, and somebody that was going to go above and beyond. So you need to identify what you're going to do above and beyond the rest of the agents, because every agent is going to say they go above and beyond, they love helping people, they care so much. But how can you actually show that, and what can you do to prove it? The next aspect of building this proper foundation is understanding that lead generation in the beginning is the number one thing you need to care about. That is it. Everybody gets so caught up in all of these little nitty-gritty things as a new agent, but if you have no clients, it doesn't even matter. So let's get some clients. So that is your first and foremost priority. And there's 4 different ways that you can get clients, which is either marketing, which is free organic content, like leveraging YouTube videos, TikTok, Instagram Reels, things like that. Advertising, which is paid ads, which is Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram ads, things like that. Then you've got prospecting, cold calling, door knocking, and then you've got networking. So those are the 4 pillar ways that you can generate clients, and those need to be baked into your daily power list. Every single freaking day it needs to be in your power list. Because again, so many agents fail in their first year because they get so caught up in ignoring the things they know they need to do because they suck. But you need to do the things that suck as quickly as possible so that you can earn the right to do the fun things for as long as possible, right? For me, I door knocked 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, in rain, snow, hail, everything, and -10 for the first 6 months of getting my license. Built the foundation. I've never had to prospect a single day since, and I never will. So you need to earn your stripes. You need to put that grind work in, but focusing on lead generation is the number one priority of establishing that foundation once you have your CRM in place to be able to send those leads directly to somewhere where you can convert and nurture them. Now, the final aspect of building a proper foundation is focusing on systems, processes, and time management or templates. Because one of the things that you'll see as you start building momentum as a new agent, closing your first couple of deals, is that a lot of the tasks are repetitive. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over. So instead of having to do it from scratch, over and over and over. If you just create templates or you create processes or systems or automations, it's going to allow you to scale, because there's a lot of inefficiencies that agents struggle with. And if you understand that time is money, if you save time and reinvest that time back into income producing activities like marketing, advertising, prospecting, and networking, then your income will go up and you will close more deals. But so many agents, again, love to be busy and they like to do these tasks over and over and over again. Instead of saying, hey, I did this on the last deal, why don't I just have a canned email? Why don't I just have a templated process? Why don't I just set up an automation with Zapier so that way, the next time I have to do it, it takes seconds instead of minutes or hours. Now, the fourth thing is, what should you be focusing on in terms of platforms? Because social media is incredibly important as we go into a shifting market, because it's all about building brand awareness, taking market share in people's minds so that you become and remain top of mind. So that way, whether they work with you now, even if they don't, when the market comes back, if you're the one that's top of mind, they are going to work with you. And that's what we want. So let's talk about the platforms that you should be focusing on, because a lot has changed. And to be honest, platforms like Facebook right now, it just ain't it. Facebook has now removed the special ad category. They're constantly making it impossible for us to run high converting ads. And again, I've spent over $1 million in the last 12 months of my own money on Facebook ads. So I have the data. I know what's happening. Cost per lead is going up, conversion's going down, quality's going down. So let's talk about what you need to be focusing on if you want to thrive as a new agent coming into this next year. The first thing is YouTube for client attraction. Now, I preach YouTube, and a lot of people think it's just because I'm on YouTube, but that couldn't be further from the case. I do it because it works. If you look at the many agents in my organization that have been crushing it with YouTube, you've got Suman that did 87 deals in his first year. John Pena ended up doing 75 deals in his first year. Jenny Selly did 100K from one video. You've got Andrew that did multiple six figures in his first year. All of these agents are leveraging video. And if you look at the many agents that have partnered with me at the Wolfpack at EXP, I sit down with them and show them exactly which videos to put out based on their market, their target demographic, their style of business, their approach to where they're looking to go in those next short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. And you need to focus on this because it's SEO driven, it's data driven, it's scalable, it's evergreen. So essentially, if you put out a properly optimized YouTube video, it is door knocking or cold calling for you 24/7, 365 for free. So this is what will start to create leverage of your lead generation, so that if you look at the traditional agent, their business is growing the 3 hours a day that they're prospecting at best. But if you start to leverage things like YouTube, you can begin pairing that with prospecting so that you start to get the immediate clients from prospecting, and then you start to get clients coming to you at scale with the client magnet of your YouTube videos. Now, the caveat to that is you have to understand how to optimize your YouTube videos. Otherwise, your video will die. So if you want to know that, drop a comment. I'll send you my free training on how to properly optimize your YouTube videos to rank #1. But you also have to understand the relationship between social media and prospecting. All too many agents get into real estate and just want to do social media from day one. You can do it. There's been agents that have partnered with me that have done it, but they're anomalies because they're hyper consistent, whereas most agents aren't. So what you need to do is understand that there's a different relationship between these two. Prospecting is going to be now business, immediate business, building your foundation. You need to do that. It is linear in nature, 3 hours in, 3 hours out. That is linear. The more time you put in, the more outcome you get, or the more output you get. With social media, it's delayed gratification, it's exponential versus linear. So it starts very slow, takes a bit of time, maybe 3 to 6 months of being consistent to build momentum, then it hits an inflection point and boom, your business goes crazy. So you need to offset the social media and time it takes for that to build momentum with the immediate gratification of the prospecting, and always improving on your conversion rate. Now, in conjunction with YouTube for client attraction, you also want to be focusing on TikTok and Instagram Reels for building your personal brand. This is more in the moment content. This is going to be content where, again, I've got multiple videos below breaking down how to approach each of these platforms, but these are the best with organic engagement, and you want to be leveraging the mass organic engagement in order to build your local brand and start to become top of mind in your market center, because you can use hashtags, geotags, and things that are going to be searchable within reason in your local market or specific communities you want to farm, so that, again, you're going to start to not just become but remain top of mind. And this is going to be a great way to leverage your time, because by posting focusing on these short form platforms, the organic engagement is astronomical, much more than anything else right now. So you want to be bolting onto that rocket ship while you still can until it becomes like every other platform, so that as a new agent, you can start to build momentum quickly. Now, in terms of advertising, the last thing I want to talk about in terms of platforms you should be focusing on, Google, YouTube, and TikTok ads. These are the three that I recommend focusing on because, again, unfortunately, Facebook and Instagram ads is becoming a complete mess. They're constantly changing things, making it impossible for agents to have strategic targeting. And yes, you can still get good results, but you have to spend way too much time learning how to optimize, how to split test, how to do all different types of creatives, copy, things like that. As a new agent, that's too much. You need to go straight to what works, and that is Google, YouTube, and Facebook ads. I do have tutorials in the description, which I'll link, but you want to make sure that if you're putting money into paid advertising, you're going to be focusing on the platforms that are going to yield the highest quality leads for the most affordable cost per lead as well. The fifth thing I want to talk about is exceptionally important, which is making sure you're in the right environment and you're aligning with the right people. Again, we talked about the fact that the brokerage brand does not matter, but the brokerage does matter. And this is where I constantly see new agents struggling, because when you look at a traditional franchise brokerage, none of the top agents are going to share any of their best information with you. Because what happens is you, likely watching this video, are ambitious, you're driven, you're fired up, you're going to take action. Well, if they share their best information and you actually do it, that creates competition within their brokerage office. So what happens, and this is the mistake I made as a new agent, is joining the local brokerage that had all of the rock stars in it. But then I was left hanging high and dry to die, basically, because nobody wanted to share their best information with me. Whereas when you look at our group at EXP, well, EXP as a brokerage has 50 hours of the top training by the top 1% agents across the entire company, all sharing their best information with you. It's the first time in history that the top agents are sharing all of their best strategies for 50 hours a week. But then when you bolt on what we do, this is where agents thrive. So at the Wolfpack, why we're breaking records is because we have the continuous training of what works right now on every platform, but also not just business, life. Because the one thing most people don't talk about is the number one reason why agents fail is not because they don't have the skills. It's not because they don't have the tools or training. It's because of this mindset. Every single agent fails because of mindset. It's the number one reason. And the reason being is because of limiting beliefs, fears, self-sabotaging behaviors, negativity, all of the things that you're focusing on that are distracting you from doing the things you know you need to do. So what we focus on is health challenges, mindset, building a balanced life with your family, kids, well-rounded, and also becoming massively successful. So if you look at why we've got one of the highest retentions in the company, it's because people are learning every single day with our 5 live mastermind calls per week, where you're surrounded by agents that are all wanting to thrive in their first year and share their best information and support you in order to help you succeed as well, because the market is going to continue to change at a rapid pace. And if, when you're at a traditional brokerage, they usually don't have the capacity to adapt or adjust their training to what is happening in the market right now, because they don't have the manpower to do it. Whereas when you look at groups like ours, we have the ability to constantly be feeding you all of the information that you need right now in order to thrive, not what worked 6 months ago or 12 months ago, what works today. So you really need to make sure that, again, understanding the analogy that rising tides lifts all ships, that you're in a brokerage or you're with a group like ours where everybody wants to see you win, everybody's there to support you, and everybody is sharing their best information to help you thrive in your first year as a new agent. And again, if you want to book a call with myself, just drop a comment and I'll pull back the curtains and share with you everything that we're doing and why we've got such a high success rate of new agents. Now, the sixth and final thing is understanding the cardinal rules of what you need to do in order to thrive as a new agent. And these again come down to mindset. The first one being discipline and self-accountability. One of the main reasons why I see so many new agents fail is because they'll build out a power list. They'll write, 3 hours of prospecting. They will write 1 hour of client follow-up, studying the data, record videos for an hour. And guess what they're not going to do? Any of it. because it's the stuff that is not fun. And they're gonna get a call from a lender and say, hey, do you wanna go for a coffee? Or a title rep, hey, do you wanna go grab lunch? And they're, instead of doing the activities they know they need to do, they would rather put it off and go meet with that person. They think they're being productive, but they're being busy, because that relationship will not get you as far as doing the activities you know you need to do in order to move the needle of your business. Those can wait. They can come at another time. They're looking to get business from you. Well, you don't even have business to give them. So go start focusing on what you need to do to get your own clients to even need a lender or need a title rep, right? So what you need to do is focus on doing the right things, because so many people build out their business plan and they reverse engineer it into the 12-week year, and then the weekly goals and the daily goals and the power list, and they don't stick to their schedule. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, and you need to live by your calendar. Again, the video about our business plan will show you how to break this down and how to stay on track. We actually give you a calendar to use as well for free. So again, if you comment, I'll give that to you. But you really need to make sure that you're doing the right things, focusing on the right activities, and not just being busy for the sake of filling 12, 14 hours a day. The next aspect of the Cardinal rules is understanding expectations. You need to understand the sacrifice it's going to make. You need to say no to going out on the weekends with your friends, or going for a patio beer, going for a game of golf. If you want to thrive in a shifting market, you need to make sacrifices. I've got an entire video for new agents on the expectations you need if you want to become a top producer in your first year. Again, if you want that, drop a comment and I'll give it to you. But it's really important to make sure that you're focusing on the right expectations of yourself. All too many people don't even set expectations for themselves, which is why they just go about their business in a casual way. And what happens when you're casual and not intentional? You become one of the 87% that fail. And the last thing I want to touch on is, how bad do you actually want it? Why did you get into real estate? Do you want to just hang out, hope a deal comes to you, close a couple here and there, and live a mediocre life? Or do you want to change your life, your family's life, create generational wealth, make an impact on other people, give back, donate? What do you want out of real estate? Because you need to create a vision board. You need to remind yourself why you're doing this, because the reason why those 87% fail is because they don't remember why they got started. If you're watching this right now, you're probably stoked, you're energetic, you're excited, you're pumped, you're motivated about the real estate industry. Wait until 6 months from now. If you don't remember that feeling of why you got into real estate, to change your life, to change your family's life, well, you're going to give up because you feel like you're losing nothing. But what you're doing is you're losing the fire and giving up in your dreams of why you got started in the first place. So by having a vision board, a physical and digital anchor, when you don't feel like, doing the 3 hours of prospecting a day, you can look at that picture of your family and say, hey, I'm not just letting myself down, I'm letting them down. You can look at the trip that you're supposed to take your children on this year and say, hey, if I don't do this prospecting, it's not just going to affect me, my kids won't get to go to Disney. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you stay on track and stay accountable, because ultimately people are just used to letting themselves down for years. But if you let somebody down that you love and you care for, it hurts a lot more. So without further ado, let's dive into the full real estate marketing plan for 2022. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty. I train thousands of agents every single year on how to scale their business the modern way. And I'm really excited about this because I want to make sure that you've got a proven process that you can follow. A lot of people get confused about marketing and advertising, where to start, where to go, what to do, how much to spend. And I'm going to hopefully bring that full circle, make it very clear for you so that you can just follow a proven process. Now, if you want to know more details about anything I'm going to talk about, you can comment below, either with a question, or if you want my free social media training, I can give that to you. But let's start diving into this to talk to you about how to start approaching your business. Now, the first thing that we're going to get into is brand awareness, because again, in real estate is who you know and who knows you. The more people you know and the more people that know you, ultimately, the more clients you're going to get and the more people you're going to be working with. So when we start looking at brand awareness, the goal is not just to become top of mind, it is to remain top of mind. So how are we going to be doing that? There's a couple very efficient ways to do it, and that's how I'm going to be approaching this video, is not the details of how to go to the pro level, it's what to do at a bare minimum to crush it, so that you don't get overwhelmed, you follow a simple process, and it's easy for everybody. So Instagram and TikTok, incredible for brand awareness, especially on a local level. And what you want to be doing here is you want to be doing things like property tours and local community information or local city information, whatever. My recommendation is at least post 3 times a week. If you really want to crank it up, you want to be doing once a day. And all you need to be doing for that is batching your content, just like I'm doing here. Most people know that I'm going to be recording my entire month's worth of content in this one setting so that, again, you can do the same with short form. Now, this is the key in order to build a brand in 2022 is understanding engagement. Short form, vertical format content, which is Instagram Reels and TikTok, are getting, without question, the highest organic engagement. So you want to lean into that, even if it's scary, because that's what we need to do as entrepreneurs is, even if we don't want to do something, even if it's uncomfortable, if you want to succeed, you have to do it, and you have to constantly be a student and developing new skill sets. But again, the beautiful part about these platforms is that the fastest growing demographic is 25 to 35, which is the average, first time home buyer, first time home seller. And the beautiful part about these is that it's short, so it's very easy to create and not very time consuming. And it's raw, meaning that, again, right now I've got lighting, I've got all kinds of stuff, professional camera, everything going on. But the beautiful part about short form content is you can just use your iPhone. Right? So it doesn't take up a lot of time, even though it seems like the volume is quite a bit. You're going to see that the time it takes to actually create and edit and post is not even close to some of the other platforms. Now on LinkedIn and Facebook, all that you want to be doing is you want to be using this as basically a portfolio. And what I mean by that is you want to be posting things like you're just listed, just sold, coming soon, happy clients, property tour videos, community videos, events going on, things like that, because the organic engagement of Facebook is trash. It basically is non-existent at this point. But again, for people that are searching you, or when you share it from your Facebook business page to your personal Facebook page, then it's a great way to build your brand and become top of mind and remain top of mind so that everybody knows that you are a realtor and you're getting the job done. And same with LinkedIn. It's all about your connections, and more or less you want to be just using it as a portfolio. Yes, you can crush it. You can go deep. You can go down the rabbit hole and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But in my opinion, it's really not worth the time. YouTube is, in my opinion, the best one. As you know, because I've seen this with agents that, are in their second year, my group at EXP with the Wolfpack, that are on track to do far over $100 million a year, entirely free through YouTube with no prospecting and no ad spend. Now, the beautiful part about YouTube and why it's so good for brand awareness is that it's evergreen and it's controllable, because when you look at some of these other platforms, it's quite difficult to control the algorithm because nobody knows what it is. Whereas when you properly optimize a YouTube video, you can basically rank it number one, even with your first videos, which is really powerful. And when you look at YouTube as a platform, it is an intent-based platform versus an interest-based platform, which is why it's so good for building brand awareness, because 70% of searches on YouTube start with how to move to your city, how to stage your house, how to prepare to sell your house, how to find the right realtor, right? Whereas people are going on there on Google and YouTube to find answers. And when your videos continuously pop up, that is the easiest way to become and remain top of brand and top of mind awareness. Because especially if you optimize your video properly, your YouTube video will show up for free on Google as well. Whereas Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are all interest-based platforms where people are just going on there to find entertainment and things that they're interested in, right? So YouTube is incredibly powerful for brand awareness. And then you've got things like your physical branding. Now, this is a nice to have. It's not a must have. And this is going to be things like your flyers. You're going to be things like your bus benches and billboards, things like that. So my recommendation is, if you've been in the business for a while, you've got some flexibility with your budget, of course, I'm not going to ever diminish the power of having additional touch points that help you remain top of mind, but it is not a necessity. Okay, so if you're a new agent and somebody's telling you that the first thing you should do with the first 30% of your commission is to go get a bus bench, please do not listen to them. And please do not just start dishing out flyers, because they're going to end up in the trash. This is basically, if you've gotten to the point where you're doing over $500,000 in GCI and you've just got money to spend without expecting a return, just to get top of mind and remain top of mind, that's what this is for. But do not do this and expect yourself to get a client within 1, 2, or 3 months, because more or less it's not going to happen. So let's just get that clear. And again, This is a nice to have, not a must have. And it's when you've got budget to just spend and understand that you have no idea when the return is going to come. Now let's look at lead generation, for example. So when we're looking at lead generation, I'm going to talk about each, and then I'm going to talk about the pros and cons and how you should be approaching it this year. So typically with lead generation, when we look at Facebook, you want to be spending out $20 a day. Facebook and Instagram, and Google, you'd want to be spending more like $30 a day minimum. Now, pros and cons to each, and I'm going to talk to you about what my recommendation is going forward in 2022. Yes, you can do really well Facebook and Instagram ads. Right? Don't get me wrong. I spent over $1 million in 2021 on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. But what you need to understand is that with Facebook and Instagram ads, the lead quality is going to be lower, which requires more follow-up, which most realtors don't do. And it requires good communication skills to convert during the follow-up, which most agents don't have. So when you look at this, yes, you can get 100 leads in a week following some of my free YouTube videos, but the average lead turns into a conversation after 7 touch points. The average realtor contacts them after 12 hours and has 1 touch point. Now with Google ads are going to be less leads, higher quality. So that means you're going to have to spend more per lead, but because it's higher quality, it's going to require less follow-up and usually increases conversion. Now my recommendation here is to be honest with yourself. If you know, and this is okay, if you know that you're probably not going to follow up at least 7 times with an online lead, and you're probably going to get frustrated with a high volume of leads, and you're probably not going to want to learn how to kill ads that are not doing that well, how to understand top, middle, bottom of funnel, retargeting, lookalike audiences, then my recommendation is, again, just be honest with yourself and maybe don't do Facebook ads and Instagram ads in the beginning, and then add it over time once you start to build up your pipeline with closed transactions that would come from Google ads. Because Google ads, again, it does require you to do your keyword research and to know what you're doing, which I have in my free training if you comment below. But you are going to get higher quality leads, and which means less leads, as long as you're mentally okay with that, because some people get all concerned when they only get a few leads a week, but they're going to be higher quality and require less follow-up. And if that sounds like something you're okay with, then that would be my recommendation. Now, obviously YouTube is something I swear by because the majority of agents in my organization at EXP with the Wolfpack are crushing it with YouTube. And the best part is that it's free. They're not spending any money on ads. They're not pumping budget to promote their videos. It's all free. It's all organic. And it is massive for lead generation because it builds a connection. It leads with value. It shows what you do differently. You have control over the optimization. And the beautiful part is that with any of these other platforms, so for example, Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, when you stop spending money, you stop generating leads, meaning you stop getting business. With YouTube, if you stop putting out videos, as long as the ones that you put out were optimized, you're still going to get clients for the next 5, 10, 15 years from the videos that are still ranking, which is really powerful because of the nature of it being evergreen. Now, website, this is a quirky one. Website's not that important, but it is important to have an IDX website. At EXP, we get free access to KV Core, which works incredibly well, and all the agents that are crushing it are using that. We've actually got private tutorials coming for that. But more or less, it's not to expect organic people to come across your website and you're just going to be generating leads. It is more so driving traffic from Google ads, from Facebook and Instagram ads, from YouTube to your IDX website, and then converting with your CRM and follow-up. So that is usually the approach you want to take when it comes to looking at lead generation. Now, a couple keys to success that I just want to mention here to help you hopefully get better results. Number one is consistency. If you're leveraging things like YouTube, because you have to, right? It's like if you're watching a series on Netflix or something and they put out 1 episode today and 1 in 2 months and 3 back to back a month later, they're never going to follow, right? So you need to be consistent, at least 2 per week videos on YouTube. Now, let's talk about a couple other things. If you're going to be doing Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and Google ads, you actually have to learn and understand. This is a huge one because everybody just thinks that there is somehow some magical perfect ad that works in every market, every time for the lowest cost per lead, and that you're going to get a lead for $5 and that's going to turn into a $10,000 commission. And if you don't, then they're unimpressed. Well, if people could generate leads for $5 and all of them turn into $10,000 commissions, I'd be a billionaire right now, right? But it's not how it works. So you need to understand that, number one, understanding how to learn the ads so that you know how to look at the data and kill the ads that are not doing that well and boost the ones that are doing that well. So it's not just regurgitating, it's understanding. And you have to understand the right mindset going into it. Because again, I see people that will spend $300 on Facebook ads and they say, Mike, I'm never going to be able to close the deal. It's never going to work. Well, if you spend $2,000 on Facebook ads over 2 months and you get one deal and that's a $10,000 commission, you just 5x'd your money. But people have this skewed perception of instant gratification and what return on investment is, that it really ends up making most people cut short and not getting the results they're looking for. Now let's get into some of the fun stuff that a lot of you are probably looking for. So let's talk about listings first. What should you be doing before the listing goes active on the MLS? So you want to be doing on TikTok and IG Reels. You want to be doing short form content, property tour type stuff. Right? This is going to be a really great way to kind of preview the property when it goes active and to get some of the behind the scenes as you're starting to prepare. And you want to be doing your photos and YouTube video. Everybody should be doing a YouTube video for every property, regardless of price. You need to be in the video, not just send a video team over there and say good luck. Photos, professional photos, not done by you. And then again, doing TikTok and Instagram Reels is a great way to preview the property, to tease it a little bit. Now, once the property goes active, what you should be doing is number one, ads. You want to be spending on Facebook and IG, usually about $20 a day for the first week, in order to just promote it to the market center. And it's a great way to show your clients that you're actually investing into the promotion of the property, because if they ask if you're doing anything, you can show them that you're spending money every day and getting in front of thousands of people. So running ads the first week, very important. And you want to launch the YouTube video that you took before. And you want to be making the posts on every single platform of the professional photos that you did. So your Facebook business page, your Google My Business, your LinkedIn, Instagram, so that people see that the property is now live. And it's a great way to just leverage the photos and YouTube videos that were created for you. So now let's look at open house. Again, open house, I recommend running ads for about 3 days before. And I always recommend taking like a selfie style photo outside of the open house, just to, again, show behind the scenes. Don't just post a photo of the open house with like a banner on it of the property exterior, the property or interior. Take a selfie or get somebody that's with you to take a photo of you outside or inside the property, because that's going to build brand awareness. People do not buy a house from a house. They buy a house from a person that they need to connect with to help them buy the house. So you want to make sure that you're in those photos. Now, when the property goes just sold, a couple things that we want to do. Posts. You want to make sure that you're posting, usually with a banner or something, that the property is sold with one of the professional exterior interior property photos. Ideally, one that is not the same as the just listed, so that people will actually think that it's two different properties, even though it's the same one, because it's going to actually make you look like you're doing double the business, which is really cool. And you want to be posting happy clients outside or inside of the property, usually beside your sales sign with a big sold rider on it or something like that. But this is going to be something that you want to do, because user generated content, or UGC, which is when you give them that photo and they post it on their social media. When the user is generating the content or posting about the content, that's going to build an even deeper connection, because as realtors, everybody knows that we basically have to do this for our business, but not every client has to do this. So if they do it, it's going to generate a ton of referrals. And then again, when we start looking at after the property sold, and then finally, when we look at the property after it has sold, ads. You want to be running an ad. Usually you want to bump up the budget. So again, if I was spending $20 a day on the just listed, I would probably spend like $40 a day for 1 or 2 weeks on the just sold, because we know that we're actually getting paid. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into buyers, because a lot of people are kind of confused about how you should be creating content for buyers. So when you're doing showings, my recommendation is to just be using Instagram stories, because you can be showing just some of the quirky features of the property, or you can be talking about, after you leave a house, how people felt about it, or, just a common consensus about how the showings went and some of the client feedback, and just kind of giving people an inside glimpse, or again, behind the scenes of what you've got going on. It's going to be a great way to remain top of mind. Now, when it goes conditional, typically one of the best things you can do, if you go to them or if you're allowed in your certain market center, is take a photo or some behind the scenes videos or something of inspection taking place. Just another piece of content that's already happening that you can leverage. Now, when it goes firm sold, you want to be doing ads, again, on Facebook and IG. And this is because it's sold. My recommendation is to be spending a little bit more money, like $40 a day. Also, what you want to be doing is you want to be doing posts, right? On every single platform. You're not going to say sold, but you can say congrats or something like that as a big banner to your clients that just purchased that property. Now, in possession, what you want to be doing also is doing reels and TikTok of the property, because you can get there early and use it as an opportunity to do a tour of the property that your clients now own, not somebody else, which is good. So it gives you another property tour that you can do. And you want to be doing happy clients again, usually with, hopefully what I used to do is I just had, a big banner that people could hold outside of it and happy, smiling, everything like that. And that's going to be a really great way to just continue getting in front of more people and leveraging the content that you're already doing. Now, post-possession, usually you want to be, remarketing database, talking about the fact that you've got another client that's super happy, maybe talk about the stories, share it about it, things like that. But now let's dive into the sphere, because this is where a lot of people kind of get all jacked up and don't really know where to start, where to go, and hopefully I can help you with this. So there's 3 things that I think you can do really easily that really, really helps with the remarketing of your sphere. And we all know that when you properly leverage your sphere, which most agents don't, that is where the majority of your deals over time are going to come from. Because if you look at the top producers, most of them in my organization at EXP, most of them are over 80% repeat and referral. The only way to do that is to properly leverage your sphere. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing the next new client every single time for years, for the rest of your career, which nobody wants to do. You want people coming to you. So the first thing is going to be doing monthly market updates. Now, I'm going to toss in a bit of a caveat here, because this can go a couple different ways. Number one, for clients that have bought or sold with you, one of the things that I used to do is I would set them up on a new property search. So what this would do is they could keep their eye on other properties, so that if down the road they want to sell, or they just considered, buying a new property, then they've got their finger on the pulse of what's happening in the market. You can also be sending out the market stats on a monthly basis, which most MLS systems will allow you to do automatically, or if you're properly leveraging your CRM, that can do it automatically as well. But with the monthly market update, it's more or less just keep your finger on the pulse of your clients, that where are they in kind of the future trajectory of their buying and selling decisions. Because when you look at this, most proper CRMs are going to tell you how often somebody is looking at a market report. So if you see that they check it out once a month, every month, and then suddenly one month they check it out 7 times and then 10 times the next month, it's probably a really good idea to reach out to them, because clearly something's up and they might be looking to make a decision. Now, the second thing is the one that's working out really well for a lot of my agents, again, goes back to YouTube. And this is because people are always looking to work with an agent that's innovative, forward thinking, and ahead of the curve. If you look at the stats, I think it's 86% of buyers and sellers would rather work with an agent that focuses on video than one that doesn't, because it's the way of the future, and they want people that are going to go above and beyond for them to be working with them. So when you look at YouTube, it's a really creative way to leverage your sphere, because when you're doing things like the market updates, you can send a video paired with the data. When you're doing a community tour or a local business highlight or event coverage or a holiday special or anything like that, it gives you a really great way to, in a warm manner, get back in front of your clients and prove that you're also doing things differently, which a lot of clients like. So a lot of the agents in my group are leveraging YouTube to nurture their database. And the feedback almost across the board is that they're getting people reaching out to them from their database, saying how much they love their videos and kind of re-engaging after they fell off for a long time. Now, finally, one of the best ways to leverage your sphere is going to be things like holiday or client in general, client events, which is going to be like your client appreciation events or activities like that. And this is going to be one that costs a little bit of money, but again, it's going to be worth its weight, because whenever people come to an event, whether it be a Christmas event, Thanksgiving, July 4th, July 1st, anything that's going on in your country, your city, your state, your province, this is going to be a great way for them to bring new people. And that's what you want at these events, is not just your clients to come, but your clients to bring somebody. And when they can show that you're doing something fun, even just as simple as a barbecue, hot dog barbecue or something in the summer, it's a really great way that's cheap, effective, and it allows you to have a one-to-many relationship instead of one-to-one. Because oftentimes when your clients are thinking about referring you, it's a one-to-one and it's kind of on an ad hoc basis. Whereas when you pool everybody together, the kids are out there, spouses are there, everybody's having fun, a lot of times their kind of mental barriers or blocks or walls are kind of coming down a little bit, so that they're more open, they're more loose. And it's a great way to, again, if you bring 50 past clients and they each bring one, that's 50 more people that you can get in front of and show that you're doing things differently and you're having a lot of fun with your business. So hopefully this just gives you a pretty generic idea of what you can do in order to get started with things like, your buyers and listings, lead generation and brand awareness, and how to ultimately leverage real estate marketing, because it's incredibly powerful if you know what you're doing. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to find a process that you can rinse and repeat, duplicate, and continue to do over and over so that your clients never forget about you and new people are constantly finding out about you.